The story begins with Erina, a hard-working woman employed at a corporate firm. Alarming news is flooding in from all directions. A strange and terrifying disease has spread across the entire world. The atmosphere at her office is tense, with every employee masked and anxious. One day, upon entering the office restroom, Erina witnesses a horrifying sight. A colleague lies unconscious on the floor, her eyes completely white. The most distinctive symptom of this illness is the whitening of the eyes. Panic-stricken, Erina grabs her belongings and rushes home. Erina recently separated from her husband. She now lives alone with her only son, Anton. That very morning, she had noticed an infected man collapsed in the park. Television broadcasts confirm the worst. The lethal disease has swept the globe, and death follows within just 2 days of infection. Scientists worldwide are racing to find a cure, but none has been found. The government orders citizens to remain indoors and to stay away from anyone with white eyes. The city is surrounded by the military, and no one is permitted to leave. Surveying the chaos around her, Erina realizes things are about to get far worse. She rushes straight to her son's school, only to find it surrounded by soldiers. No parents are allowed inside. Because many children have already been infected, all the children have been locked within the building. But Erina refuses to give up. Using her wits, she instructs Anton to come to the back of the building, breaks the lower window, and pulls him to safety. By this time, the city's borders have been completely sealed by the military. No one in, no one out. At the checkpoint, crowds of people are protesting. Their families are inside the city, and they demand entry. Among them stands Sergei, Erina's ex-husband and Anton's father. He wants to retrieve his former wife and son, but the military blocks him as well. Left with no choice, Sergei returns to his current home, 15 kilometers outside the city, where he lives with his present wife, Erina, and their daughter, Nina, and son, Misha. That night, Sergei's father, Boris, arrives unexpectedly. A former soldier, Boris warns the family that this is no ordinary illness. The entire world is on the brink of collapse, and lawlessness will spread everywhere. He insists that even their rural village will not be safe once desperate people begin looting. They must leave immediately and find somewhere completely uninhabited. Sergei reveals that his ex-wife Erina and son Anton are still trapped in the city. He will go for them first. If he is not back before morning, Boris should take the rest and leave without him. Shortly after Sergei leaves, Boris notices a gang of looters breaking into nearby homes. They attempt to enter Boris's home as well. Boris warns them. He is a former soldier, and his aim never misses. When his warning is ignored, he shoots one looter. The others flee. Meanwhile, in the city, Erina peers out from her apartment window to witness death on all sides. Suddenly, there is a knock at the door. Her mother has arrived. But when Erina opens the door, she recoils in horror. Her mother's eyes have gone completely white. She slams the door shut. From outside, her mother weeps and begs to be let in. Erina realizes that her mother was the one who had touched the infected man in the park that morning, and has now contracted the disease herself. A short while later, another knock. This time, it is Sergei. He bribed the driver of a government supply truck with a large sum of money to smuggle him into the city. Erina breaks down in tears, overwhelmed with gratitude. On their way out, they find the truck driver has been murdered and everything looted. Left with no alternative, Sergei takes the wheel himself and barely manages to get them out of the city. Boris had already stockpiled food, water, and fuel. Sergei's current wife, Erina, expresses her frustration. Was it really worth risking so much to save his ex-wife and son? But in the midst of the argument, Sergei's truck is spotted approaching in the distance. The group sets off in 3 vehicles. However, they have not gone far when Sergei's car runs out of fuel. They need a tow chain to reach the nearest gas station. Their neighbor Leon claims he has one at home and goes to retrieve it, but in truth, he has deceived them and driven away alone. The chain was in his vehicle all along. Not far down the road, Leon's pregnant wife, Erina, needs to stop the car to use the restroom. At that moment, his daughter, Polina, spots several vehicles approaching. The same looters who had attacked their home, now returning for revenge. Polina leads everyone into the snow-covered forest. They manage to evade the looters, but Leon's car is seized by the thieves. After waiting a long while, Sergei's group concludes that Leon has abandoned them. But moments later, Leon's family appears on foot from the opposite direction. In tears, Leon confesses everything and begs forgiveness. Sergei takes him along, and they reach the gas station together. At the gas station, thousands of desperate people are fleeing, and everyone scrambles to refuel. Suddenly, a woman screams that a coughing man is infected. Terrified, the crowd stabs the man and flees in a panic. The entire area empties in moments. Sergei and Leon's family seize the opportunity to fill their vehicles. They also take food and supplies from the store. The dead man's car is confirmed to be free of infection and is handed over to Leon. Boris reveals that he knows of a hidden place, a mysterious lake far away with his own hand-built cabin, where there is not another village or soul for thousands of kilometers. They can fish in the lake to survive. The 2 families set out toward that lake. A few hours into the journey, their path is blocked by an abandoned fire truck. Sergei climbs into the cab to move it, only to find an injured man slumped in the back seat. As he reaches out to help, the man drives a knife into Sergei's stomach. Sergei is gravely wounded. The group takes shelter in a small nearby village. Erina and Erina work together to stitch Sergei's wound using thread collected from surrounding homes. But antibiotics are needed to prevent infection. Fortunately, Leon manages to locate a local doctor who agrees to provide medicine and injections in exchange for a car. After the injection, Sergei begins to feel somewhat better. But then comes devastating news. All of their remaining food has been stolen. The neighbors are responsible, but the infected people have already eaten it, making it useless anyway. On the road, they encounter a man named Pavel, a doctor who continues to move from place to place, tending to the sick, even in the midst of the pandemic. Erina gives him her contact lenses, as his glasses have been broken. Coming upon a collapsed bridge, they turn back and witness Pavel being robbed by the villagers. In the commotion that follows to rescue Pavel, no one notices that little Anton is no longer in the car. Anton, frightened and alone, makes his way through the forest. In one village, he witnesses soldiers shooting even healthy civilians. A soldier spots him. Anton flees and hides beneath a bed in an old hospital. Just as the soldier moves in to shoot, a doctor from behind knocks the soldier unconscious. The doctor takes Anton to safety, a small community hidden deep in the forest, where a resistance movement has formed against the military. The villagers soon launch an assault on the military base.
Erina realizes Anton is not in the car. Everyone turns back, but he is nowhere to be found. Erina dissolves into tears. Boris spots small footprints along the edge of the road, leading into the forest. Everyone follows the tracks to a village. There are hundreds of homes, but no sign of Anton. Military helicopters are dropping leaflets overhead, urging those in hiding to come forward. Thinking Anton might have gone there, the group heads to the military base. There, they meet the doctor who had saved Anton. In the chaos, the doctor informs Sergei and Erina of Anton's location. They run to the spot, only for other children to tell them Anton has been chased away. Erina is crushed with despair. Still, Sergei refuses to give up. Through a blizzard, he searches every corner of the village. At last, he finds Anton hiding in an old building. Erina's heart becomes whole again. Sergei gives the doctor a portion of their remaining food as a gift, in gratitude for saving his son's life in the darkest of times. As they set off again, it becomes clear that Erina, Sergei's current wife, has fallen ill. She is likely infected. She is placed in a separate vehicle to prevent the disease from spreading. Before long, she can no longer drive. The group takes shelter in a nearby house. Dr. Pavel administers antibiotics and glucose, but Polina delivers grim news. In the night, Ina's eye color changed. The infection has truly taken hold. Pavel makes one final attempt. He explains that despite treating countless infected patients, he has never contracted the illness himself, which suggests his body has developed antibodies capable of fighting the infection. He transfuses his own blood into Erina, hoping his antibodies will save her. The entire day passes in agonizing suspense. The next morning, Misha goes to check on his mother and is astonished. Erina has walked out on her own. Her eyes are back to normal. She has recovered. Boris is found unconscious in the prayer room of the house. Pavel diagnoses a heart attack. For the last time, Boris clasps his son Sergei's hand and says, "God has given you two families, Erina and Anna. Take care of them both." He then closes his eyes in peace. Fearing Erina's infection, Leon had already slipped away with his family. On the road, Marina goes into sudden labor. The car loses control and overturns. In the accident, the baby does not survive. They find refuge in a cabin in the forest, locking the owner in the basement. But the owner manages to escape through cunning and turns the tables by locking Leon's family inside instead. In the basement, Marina confesses a devastating truth to Leon. The child was not his. She had once seen Leon at a bar, grief-stricken and drinking after the death of his first wife, and had seized the opportunity to marry him. Though both Polina and Leon are deeply hurt, Leon declares that he will not abandon Marina. Misha, worried about Polina, takes the car and drives off alone. He had earlier dropped his scarf on the cracked ice, making it look as though he had fallen through and drowned, so that his family would not follow him. Searching through the forest, Misha reaches the cabin. Trapped outside the fence, he uses a gun to break the chain. The noise distracts the cabin owner inside, and Leon seizes the moment, knocking the owner unconscious and freeing his family. Misha tells everyone that their group has already reached the lake. Everyone piles into Misha's car. Leon releases the cabin owner from the basement. choosing forgiveness over revenge. Along the way, they encounter a priest. Before everyone present, Marina confesses her wrongdoing and sincerely asks to marry Leon for real this time. Misha also declares his love for Polina. The priest performs 2 weddings, simple in setting, but extraordinary in feeling. That night, a plane crashes near the cabin. The pilots had likely been infected. The sight deeply unsettles Pavel. He says that people are dying out there, and he cannot remain sitting safely here. It is not right. The antibodies in his blood may hold the key to saving the entire world. The next morning, Pavel bids farewell to everyone and sets out for the National Research Laboratory to develop a cure. Shortly afterward, Misha arrives with Leon's family. Sergei runs to embrace his son. At Boris's cabin by the lake, everyone begins a new life. Sergei teaches his 2 sons, Anton and Misha, how to fish. Though conflict still stirs within Erina's heart, the fact that everyone is alive and together is the greatest gift of all. While destruction continues to rage in the outside world, the 2 families have found peace and hope beside this quiet lake. And when Pavel succeeds in developing a cure, they will emerge from this place and return to a brand new world.